Welcome to this week's Good Ole Gamers podcast. Something a little bit different. We're coming to you live from Vault Games this week at their Mortal Kombat X tournament that's going on tonight in Cullman.
Yep.
I'm Lyle McClendon. I'm here always with Brandon Gentry.
Fudge off, because it is PG-13 night.
It is PG-13 night. We're going to kick off tonight, like always, with some news. Brandon's got some good things to lay on us tonight.
On Kickstarter, there's this new little $9 computer that some people have put together called Chip. It'll fit in the palm of your hand. It runs Linux on it. It's got a 1 gigahertz processor, 1 gigabyte of RAM, 4 gigabytes of storage. It's not a beast, but it's still a $9 freaking computer.
It's kind of like a Raspberry Pi, but even thinner and more compact, right?
Yeah, and it has a case. It's not just a chip.
Yeah.
So you're not going to plug it up and electrocute yourself. It's got a USB port for like any accessory, micro USB for power, an audio port, composite video out, which is one of my major gripes about it. Is who uses composite video out for much anything anymore. I would have much rather had a stock VGA on it. Yeah. You can buy an optional VGA adapter for $10. Costs more than the freaking computer. They also have an HDMI optional one for $10. Another option is a battery, so you can just have it always on, use it as an MP3 player, whatever you want to do. And there's got what they call a pocket chip. Almost looks like a Game Boy with a QWERTY pad on it. And it's a touch screen.
It makes it a little more accessible to everybody.
You can the Kickstarter had a goal of $50,000. It's still got 13 days left, and it's at 1.6 million.
Shit.
They blew that one out of the water. Hackers gonna love this thing.
I think we can say shit unlimitedly.
Yeah, hey, as long as there's no kids around, we're good. So it's semi PG-13.
Yeah.
So don't just hand this off to your 5-year-old.
It's a hard PG-13.
Yeah.
Make sure it's PG or 13. Shit.
Yeah, the hackers are gonna love this thing though, because
Linux.
It's Linux. Linux is a good hacking platform, and one of the things about if you're doing shadier hacking is traceability. Well, this little $9 thing right here, you can go to McDonald's parking lot, get on the Wi-Fi, do what you got to do, smash the thing with a sledgehammer, and go home. You lost $9 and did what you had to do.
You need multiple ones.
Yeah,
for multiple.
They sell them in packs for like 10 plus, you know.
Nice.
So, production is starting, or they're actually going to have some to send out January 2016, so it's got a little ways to go. My biggest thing that stopped me from just buying a handful of them is shipping is like $20 and you can't combine it.
Oh man!
So
really?
you buy 3 of them, that's $60 shipping for
right off the bat
for $28 worth of stuff. So yeah.
Shipping's always.
It almost makes me think that they wanted more money for the computer, but they wanted that single-digit price for the headline. So like, we'll just charge them an extra $10, and then get our money that way.
Get compensated elsewhere.
This is the group of guys. If the group of nobodies can do this, I want to see some like big name companies do even better and cheaper. So that'd be awesome.
Have like a $4 PC that's available by the end of the year, probably.
Yeah, man, I would set up.
They want people to have access to technology, and that's the perfect way to do the shit.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be powerful to get on the internet and
make it cheaper and make it easily accessible, so people
and stuff like this is really going to help out like third world countries where they don't have access to this kind of technology.
Like some wonder kid in these countries over there can get access to that kind of platform and develop their own networks, and get things running for places that don't have commodity like we do.
If this comes pretty available and it works out good, I want to have like computer terminals everywhere in my house. Like have one in the kitchen for recipes, one in the bathroom so I can watch videos while I'm taking a dump.
Build your own smart house, essentially.
Yeah. Heck, have one on my freaking door where people can like write notes for me. That'd be freaking awesome. I'd probably get stolen every week, but still, it'd be awesome.
I just draw big dicks on your door all the time.
Yeah. They come home, that dick has a slightly larger right ball, so Lyle's here.
Yeah.
That's his signature win.
I know the decks that Lyle draws. Something that you told me about earlier that I'm excited about. Because I'm a vinyl collector.
Yeah, they're releasing the vinyls in September of the Shenmue and Streets of Rage soundtracks.
That's pretty awesome.
I have no clue what the price is. I think May 30th is when the price is going to...
Probably like 30, 40
I'm thinking
bucks
$30 a piece, yeah.
Man, a Streets of Rage soundtrack would be cool because it'd be... Streets of Rage soundtrack's very 80s.
Yeah.
Like Kung Fury style.
Saw Rockstar is suing the BBC over the Game Change drama that they're doing. Or Game Changer, is it? Yeah, Game Changer.
Yeah.
They're citing trademark issues, but it's really because they don't want anyone portraying them in a negative light.
Well, they announced like a couple months ago, I think, that the BBC was working on a Grand Theft Auto movie, and what it was it's not actually a Grand Theft Auto movie, but it's about Rockstar and like the rise of Rockstar, essentially. I heard they were doing something. I wonder if that's got something to do with it, kind of deal.
I'm kind of just fed up with Rockstar and the way they treat everybody now.
Yeah, they're wonderful servers.
Yeah. Leave
me wanting. Because you can't even play GTA 5 without getting booted every 3 or 4 minutes. And like you'll be playing and you'll be in the middle of action with a bunch of people, and these people will just start dropping out. Then it'll be like, everybody left. Fucking ridiculous.
They make so many millions of dollars each time they even, say a sentence about making a game.
Yeah.
And they can't even put up a decent server for a game like that. Whereas, like, the game I like to play, similar game, All Points Bulletin, they run, really slim budgets because they're not near the popularity of that. And their servers are way better.
I'm pretty sure they just announced, too, GTA 5 with PC totals and all, I think just hit, like, 50 million sales combined total.
Yeah.
Like 50 million, give or take.
And what's the maximum player count on the server? Is it around 30?
Oh, God. 30 something, yeah.
It's not nothing massive. That APB...
32, I think. I'm not positive about that. But
APB has like a little over 100 a server right now and runs way better. And it uses ancient technology. It's running Unreal Engine. I mean, like an old version of the Unreal Engine.
Sometimes I can even get my poor crippled PC to run.
Well, it was not even made for this kind of game. They kind of patched together a version to work for what they wanted to do. If Rockstar with their millions of dollars can't even get up a working server for their players that spend $60 each on a stupid game, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and 50 million, just fathom that. 50 million games,
Yeah.
Some of the classic games from our childhood haven't even sold 50 million in their 25 plus year existence. Yeah. That's just unreal. You can't even fathom it.
It's either greed or incompetence.
Get your shit together, Rockstar. That's what we're saying.
I got another one. I told you all that Dimension Drive, the Galaga-like dual screen shooter. It had failed its Kickstarter, but at the end of its failure, some troll posted like a 7,000 pound pledge, which put it right at the goal, and then Kickstarter let them know, hey, that was a fraudulent charge, sorry buddy. So because of that, Kickstarter's actually rebooting the Kickstarter for them, so they're starting over. Maybe they'll actually hit it this time. I really hope they do, because that looks like a great game.
That'd be cool.
Part of me almost wonders if they had hired a troll to make this pledge for them because they knew they were going to fail, but I don't know. They couldn't have known that. They would have willingly restarted it.
You probably just started like an internet mystery.
Probably. It's just the guy in the rubber mask at the end of it. The only other thing I've seen is Witcher 3 is getting all the freaking awards out there, all the perfect scores. I haven't played it yet, but...
I haven't either. I'll end up picking it up this week, I have a feeling, though.
It looks pretty good.
I've been eyeballing it quite a bit.
That's all I got, though. You got anything else?
No. The Shenmue vinyl and the Rockstar, the Grand Theft Auto BBC thing's about all I had this week. Go ahead and clarify the listeners, I'm a working man, so it's hard for me to just look up confident news sometimes. I have been working on this week's
Alright, so far in Retro Wars, I'm cleaning house right now.
Brandon is beating me on Retro Wars, and it angers the shit out of me. 2 of you have voted Super Adventure Island as
one of
bad
them.
games. You're a son of a gun, Brandon.
I sure am. Not because Adventure Island is a bad game, but because I want to win.
Competition. I'm really appalled though that like 5 people I think liked Outlander. I kind of just want to be like, have all 5 of you even played Outlander? I know you, and I hate to say it, but one of the likes on my Adventure Island come from myself.
Hey, I like Outlander, so hey, yeah, vote.
Y'all gotta help me out here. Y'all killing me. And I have a feeling neither game that we dropped this week, I've never even heard of the one you're gonna drop, and for some reason it'll probably freaking win for some reason. So lay your blow on me first, then.
All right, mine is Nox. It's a PC game, so it won't have quite the reach because more people are familiar with console games.
Yeah.
Sweet. Nox came out in January 2000. It was made by the now defunct Westwood Studios.
Mm-hmm.
It was an action role-playing game. It was very similar to Diablo 2.
Westwood made like the Command and Conquer series too, right?
Yeah, which are now made by EA.
Yeah. Wonderful old EA.
And the timing of this game's release, I think, spelled its doom more than anything, because it got great reviews. It was really hyped for a while, but Diablo 2 released a few months after it, and everybody played that game, me included.
Yeah.
Like once Diablo 2 came out, no other game existed. But it's an interesting twist on the genre. It starred this character named Jack. He was like a young man from modern day Earth living in a trailer park, and he's just like loafing on his couch watching TV, and like he has this thing that looks like almost like a snow globe on top, and it ends up being some artifact from another parallel universe that's like a high fantasy universe. And Sorceress calls him in because she wants that orb. He kind of crosses over with it, and the whole rest of the game is spent trying to hunt her down and kill her so you can get back to your home, because your wife was making you bacon when you got pulled in, and you got to eat some bacon.
Everybody gotta eat bacon.
Yeah.
If you don't eat bacon, screw you.
The game's got 3 classes, and they're simple but amazing. There's the Wizard, the Conjurer, and the Warrior. All of them are very different. The Wizard only casts spells, nothing else. But all 3 of these classes have like a one-hit kill move too. So the Wizard, his one-hit kill move is the Death Ray. It's just like an instant cast, one shot, instant death. But you have to have 10-point accuracy with it. Let's say the Conjurer, he conjures monsters and all this stuff. He's really my favorite. He had this thing called a Force of Nature, which is like a ball that would bounce around and just mow everything down. And then the Warrior he didn't have anything but 5 abilities, but they were really great abilities, and he had to charge out to kill other players in one hit. The game did have both single player and multiplayer. I probably should have mentioned that first. The multiplayer is what I played mostly of it, but the single player was good too. It had a really good story that was unique and interesting. It wasn't boring. You didn't waste your time talking to a million NPCs. You just played through the game.
That's cool.
Each class had kind of their own first chapter of the story almost. Like a third of the game almost was unique to each class. The multiplayer, though, by far my favorite. The game even came with an actual separate disc and a separate key you could give to a buddy for multiplayer only, which is pretty unique back then. Most games wouldn't do that.
That's something you commonly hear of now, but not at that point in time.
Yeah. It had a bunch of different modes of multiplayer. You had deathmatch, capture the flag, flag ball, king of the realm. Capture the flag is by far my favorite, because 2 evenly matched teams could play a 3-point game for hours. You'd have some people setting up, usually conjurers, guarding your flag, and you'd have runners going back and forth trying to get it. It was really awesome. It was really fast paced because there were the one-hit kill spells. Every class could do them, and it was very skill based. I had gear in the multiplayer, but you could find gear just spawning on the ground anywhere, so it's all even ground. I also had a cooperative Nox quest, which is basically you start at level 1, you see how far you can get in these randomly generated dungeons. I had a fog of war system. Basically, if you a corner of a building or something was blocking your character's view, you couldn't see around that. It would just black everything out.
Yeah.
So you couldn't see if someone was right around the corner to kill you, or there's an item over there you needed. You actually had to go peek around. And the servers are dead now because Westwood's dead, but there's a hacked version out there you can get where there's private servers up and you can play. I would love to set up a Good Ole Gamers server on that and play one day.
Man, if we could, that would be.
It is, as far as action more RPGs like that, it's the best combat I've ever played. And this is something I picked up randomly at Office Max I never heard of years ago. I was like, I wonder what this is. I bought it for like $30, $40. It was fairly new, but because Diablo 2, it is dropping price fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my retro war game. Go vote Knox.
Well, my contender for the week is one that I kind of stumbled across when I was a lot younger as well. And it, again, is for the SNES. But it is ActRaiser.
That's a good one.
A classic made by Enix. It is kind of... It's a mixed game. You essentially play as God in this game. And you are in your cloud palace, floating around your landscape you've created. Well, monsters have inhabited all these areas and made them unlivable, essentially. So the game plays like a simulation and a hack and slash, side-scrolling hack and slash. You go from being God and you send this warrior, you go into a warrior form, like, think you take control of like a statue that's on the earth.
Yeah, it was something weird.
Something like that. You come alive though as this badass warrior and you work your way across the level. It's side-scrolling hack and slash, really good control and play mechanics. And at the end of each level, there's a boss. You play through the level, like I said, you can collect power-ups, do all that. You beat the level. Well, at the end of that, he creates two people, and it goes into like an overhead simulation mode, kind of like a SimCity builder kind of deal. You create people on the earth and they pray to you and give you offerings and things, and some of the offerings from certain towns you can use in other towns. Like, for example, if they're having this other town, they don't know how to grow crops, so these people figure out how to grow wheat and shit. You can give them the wheat and help that town learn how to grow it. You know, like trade embargoes, stuff like that you can set up. But there's monsters on the map, and you play this, you go control this little angel that does your bidding, and he shoots arrows. Fly around, kill monsters. The monsters give you XP and experience. You have MP. Well, you have like rain, thunder, earthquake, and wind that you can use. Like, you can use lightning to clear foliage and stuff, you know, trees and shit like that. You can use the sunlight to dry up marshlands. You can use wind to blow away enemies off the map. And the people, you know, they'll catch their house on fire, and you'll have to send the rain, put their house out, stuff like that. You have to help people. Well, you direct them to these monster layers, and they seal the monster layer. And usually when they seal one, you get, something to use later on in the game. Well, you do this, and you pretty much clear the monsters out of each area, and you go back to the Sky Palace, and are actually able to move elsewhere and go to that land, clear out those monsters. Eventually you work your way through the whole game though, and at the end it pretty much throws every boss that you've played through the entire game all out at once. Like, you have to fight through like 8, I think, and then the final boss, and I've beaten the game one time.
I never made it far enough to know half of this existed.
It's really ridiculous, but it's a really good game. It'll run you about $40, give or take, but it is a classic. It's one of the better Enix games, not to be confused with ActRaiser 2. It is a piece of shit. But ActRaiser is really good, and it's my contender, so I think y'all should vote for it. Y'all have Super Nintendos. There's a good chance you might have played this. So vote for mine, and y'all already forced me pretty much. I'm going to have to play 1 hour of some bullshit in the next coming week.
Yeah, so voting is on the first Thursday of every month, so you got till then to vote. If you already voted on the previous games, you can vote on the new games still. So, so go vote.
Remember still to vote for Super Adventure Island as well as ActRaiser. Vote Team WoW.
You should probably vote for Outlander and Nox, though. If
you should vote for Team WoW. Brandon's verbally and mentally abusive to me. And y'all should take pity on me.
Or you can vote for me and I'll do it even more.
Yeah, he's physically abusive. He likes smacking me around, so.
Spit on you, call you a bitch.
Yeah, now spit on him, call him a bitch.
So yeah, upvote Knox. Knox is awesome.
Vote Actraiser. Okay, tonight, since we are recording live at Vault, we're here with the owner, Mr. Mark Covington.
Hey, how are y'all?
And we're just going to do a quick, let them plug their store real quick.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about Vault.
Well, it's a family-owned business. It's the only store. There aren't any other Vaults, Vault Games out there. We go from the Atari 2600 all the way up to the Xbox One, PS4.
Good selection.
Yes.
We try to be very competitive with our price and our trade-ins. Try to beat our competitors the best we can, and we appreciate all the help that everybody's given us over the last year and a couple of months. So.
And we're glad that y'all opened up because we didn't have a really good mom and pop situation.
Nah, our choices were GameStop, Walmart, or going and haggling with somebody at Lakon, you know.
Yeah.
This is a lot.
Always
better.
a shady. You might lose a kidney at Lakon if you talk to the wrong people.
Well, originally we were going to be a donut store.
Oh, really?
We were going to be Daylight Donuts, but the city of Cullman, they put way too many restrictions on with the food and health department, and it wound up being really costly. So we went with Plan B, since my wife and I have 4 kids, and they've played games their whole lives. We decided, let's do a video game store.
Nice.
It's great.
It's a good place to shop if you're local around Cullman. We frequent up here quite a bit. They got a good selection.
Yeah.
New stuff in.
And
rotate stuff in and out pretty regularly.
We do.
Yeah.
And what game of the week? We're also here with David. He's one of the peasants on the totem pole.
One of the red shirts.
I'm so trying.
One of the red shirts.
Yeah,
Yes.
the red shirt.
The green thumb. So,
You want to do a game of the week?
can, considering it's fights.
Yeah, we're doing. By the way, the topic tonight is fighters and brawlers. We ain't said none of that yet, I don't think. Because we are at a Mortal Kombat X tournament.
That's right.
I would have to say definitely Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
That's my favorite by far.
Just because of the
is.
challenges that it provides.
He and I actually found out something earlier. Scorpion's not in Mortal Kombat 3.
Nope.
Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is, but not the original.
I didn't know that. I never played.
It was a palette swap issue. They couldn't swap the palette and make it look like Scorpion, so they left him out. And in the later revisions, they, I guess, addressed that issue.
Okay. Yeah. I never played the vanilla Mortal Kombat 3. I only played Ultimate.
Yeah.
That was the first one of those games that had just a huge plethora of characters you could play as.
Yeah, there's like 20
Somewhere.
20-something selectable characters in that game.
Oh, Smoke and Noob Savant was my favorite.
They come
ones.
out on just about every platform, too.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo, Genesis,
and there's,
PlayStation, Saturn.
There was a hidden Galaga game in there. I can't remember how you got to it.
I remember it's something to do with the versus screen.
Yeah, and it was
Where
actually like a 2-player Galaga. 2 players could play it.
Yeah, it's something.
I put
to
some
do
hours
with
into just playing that.
I don't remember how to access it. Another thing was unplugged that we tried out earlier, the Superboy.
Yeah.
Oh, the Superboy's great.
Portable
It's
Super Nintendo.
Boy, right?
Super, yeah.
Super Boy.
It's excellent. Me and Brandon they got one here that y'all should come check out and purchase. Buy
before I make a mistake and spend this money on it, because I don't.
The company that makes it's Hyperkin. They do the Retron systems, and it's good quality.
Yeah.
They're a good company to work with. If it gives you any problems, you call their support, and they work with you really well. It's not like some of the other companies that you got to deal with, Microsoft and places. But
y'all actually carry the Retron 5 as well.
we do. Retron 5 plays NES, Super NES, Sega Genesis, Super Famicom, and Game Boy Advance. And it plugs up to a flat screen through HDMI, so it doesn't stretch it and make it blurry. It's
Yeah,
great.
clear.
You can apply different filters too to the screen,
It's got
can't you?
6 different filters. It's got saves to an SD card, so you can save all your work.
That's awesome. That's really handy too, man, because that's like that combines so many systems into one. You don't have to have all that crap plugged up.
Right.
Yeah.
Have to swap between.
I mean, it's a good system, but speaking of systems, in y'all's opinion, because I wanted to ask, I know I asked Lyle this the other day, what is the most underrated system that has ever been made that just never got
The attention it
the attention it
deserves.
should have?
I'm going to go with the Dreamcast. I love the Dreamcast.
TurboGrafx 16 will forever be mine. I just, to this day, I still don't see how it didn't make a bigger impact. I'm sure it was like marketing and all that crap, but
Yeah, marketing and probably games.
well, yeah, because
'Cause-
all the games were pretty much Hudson Soft,
Yeah.
because that was a Hudson Soft console. But that's probably mine because it was out, to compete with the NES, and graphically and sound wise, it's far superior.
Yeah, it is.
But it just
And by the time it
didn't
hit,
have the
there's
support.
already the household names of Mario and Sonic.
Yeah, Nintendo.
Every kid wanted Mario or Sonic or something like that.
Nobody could beat Nintendo in the 90s period, up until the PlayStation
Yeah,
arrived, like
that's
in
the first-
95, like.
First real competition with it.
I know a lot of people say that the Dreamcast is what killed Sega.
Yeah.
Was it just because it was so expensive when it came out?
It's because piracy killed the system. So like,
You can burn games
everything-
very easily. For
very
it.
early into the system, no one wanted to make games
Which
for it
I'll
because
say
they could
that
just burn it.
other than the Saturn, the Sega CD is the same way. You can burn stuff and play
Yeah.
on old model
It's
Sega
just no one
CDs.
back then. No one had CD burners.
Yeah, true that. The Dreamcast though too. The Dreamcast come out so weird. It come out like a year before the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
And Xbox dropped, and
Yeah,
I don't
when they
think they
dropped
truly harnessed that 128. Which I'm not. Dreamcast is still pretty to look at.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of the Dreamcast's big selling point was arcade ports. And I
Yeah.
guess that just didn't hit it off as big of people as they expected. I loved it, but, Xbox comes with Halo and games like that. And
Yeah.
that was just kind of the death knell for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of Halo fanatics.
Yeah.
So we actually bought in a Halo Edition Xbox the other day.
I was looking at that earlier.
So we opened it up and we had to peel the plastic off of it because they never played it. He took it out, he turned it on to make sure it worked, and he told his kids, you can't open any of your new consoles till your old ones completely go out. And his old ones never went out. So
Oh man.
they use the controller on it because the thumbstick's worn, but the system itself's brand new.
That's the one that's like the clear, translucent
Clear
green.
It's got
And
the
then,
light.
oh,
It
things
comes
are
with the
so
game and
pretty.
everything. They never even played the game because they had another copy of it. So
David had called me this weekend and
With the
said,
Super.
I was in, my sister-in-law graduated, and I was like so sick to my stomach the other day when he called. I was just like, and Emma's like, you don't need to go down there and take the credit card. And I'm like, yes, I do. What?
I said, was y'all still recording?
Yeah, we recorded. Just jump in. That's all
Just having
good.
I just had to jump in.
We ain't
Jump
very
in.
organized.
But the guys that
You'll
bought
come
that
see.
Super Nintendo in the box, he wants to come here in the next week or two, and he's got a Sega Master System he wants to trade in.
I'd like y'all to hold that for me. As I
Yeah,
will
hold
make.
that.
I will make purchase of
We
that.
heard your last podcast, and that was the one system you regretted getting rid of.
Yes, it
We're
is
gonna hold it for you.
awesome. Oh, that makes me
We
so
gotta test it
excited.
though. I asked him to bring me a game to test it with because I don't have any left. I had a whole box of Sega Master games when we first opened.
If he were to like not bring him or something, let me know. I still got like a few left. Like I kept my Ghostbusters and my Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, I've actually got a Sonic the Hedgehog 2 from Brazil. That's a Master System port.
Huh.
You would love
Jealous? Yes.
that. Yeah.
Found it at a
Big
garage
Sonic
sale. Yeah, you are the Sonic fanatic.
Yeah, I
he
can't
loves
help
the
it.
Hedgehog.
Little blue guy.
He's gonna get inked. He's gonna get
No.
the blue ink on him.
I got that Sonic CD, not for resale. The one that come with the CDX. That's the small box one. Got that Super Street Fighter 4 or Super Castlevania 4.
Yeah. You're kind of bent on getting that for me.
I am,
Both of
man. I need them. They look good on my shelf with the rest of my stuff.
them. The 32X will get played. There will be no shelfware.
See, my 32X, it's treated like a true 32X. It just sits there. It doesn't.
That's a hard system to find, though. I've never had one come through the store.
Really?
I had an Atari Jaguar once.
I'm still
first
wanting one of
opened,
them.
but it wouldn't even power on.
And we've had the one come in that was just the board. There was no housing. Just the board.
That's strange.
With the controllers and everything. Like, we got
I got the controller over there, but he's like, "Can you see what's wrong with it?" And I flip the board over, and it's black. I'm like, "This thing's fried."
That'll do it every time.
He said there was a lightning storm, and he heard a pop.
Oh man, the Jaguar is really cool, but man, they're real expensive to collect for.
Yeah.
And I mean, y'all played a Jaguar?
Not in a long time.
Yeah, that's been a good minute.
There's a few games in there that are really good. Some of them though, man. There was a place in Hartselle I've referenced on here before. When I was a kid, we used to rent from, and they had like import consoles and all kinds of crap you could rent. I played an N64 like a full year before it even came out in America. And I rented a Jaguar and rented Alien vs. Predator and Cybermorph. And Alien vs. Predator was the coolest game back then. Now, though, it uses those graphics where it looks like a cardboard person that just slides up to you, like there's no animation to the character whatsoever. And then Cybermorph, every time it's impossible to not bump into walls on that game. And every time you bump into the wall, this head pops up, and it's like, where did you learn how to fly? Where did you... just rage-inducing.
Right.
Nothing like a game that will taunt you.
Yeah. I seen the Atari Lynx y'all had in here that time.
Yeah, we did.
That was pretty awesome.
And it actually worked.
I haven't. That's one I don't own yet.
I've got a Game Gear. I'm just waiting on the battery covers for it.
Yeah, I'm missing battery covers on mine. My little brother thought he'd be a hellion back in the day and lose them. I'm getting filled up.
Take care of some customers.
All right, thank you, Mark.
Right? So y'all heard, come down here and they'll make sure you get taken care of.
Yeah, we are recording live. There's quite a many people in here right now.
It's getting kind of crowded in here.
Yeah.
Also, like we do the console repairs.
Yeah.
So burn them down, let me get hold of them.
Disc resurfacing, y'all do that, right?
Disc resurfacing.
$3.50 a disc.
If you need to know anything about random games or anything, David, your man, down here, he's always here.
6 days of the week most of the time.
Talk to us about. We're just gonna go ahead and touch on the topic. Might as well.
Yeah.
You're kind of like our honorary guest this evening.
Honorary guest of the day.
Yep. So we're gonna, like I said earlier, we're talking about fighters, brawlers, being that we're at a Mortal Kombat X tournament. One I got in the mail the other day. I'm just gonna kick it off with. I'm gonna start it out because it's the first time I've ever played it, ever even seen it personally. I ordered in the mail for TurboGrafx CD Fighting Street.
What a turd.
It is
What a
fighting
turd.
shit.
Not played, but it looks like a turd.
It if you don't know, Fighting Street is actually the home port of Street Fighter. Not Street Fighter 2, not any variation that we'll talk about in a little bit, but the first Street Fighter. In this port, you can only play as Ryu, and Ryu is a ginger, I might add, in this port. When you jump, the characters have moon-like physics. They just kind of float.
Yeah, there's very little animation to it.
If you want to pull off a hurricane kick or Hadouken, good luck, because I've managed to do it once, just like having a seizure on my controller and like tapping buttons, you know.
Now it's like 3 prompts and you can actually pull it off in the game.
So terrible.
And the difficulty of it didn't ramp up the AI, it ramped up their stats. Yeah. So like they'd hit you once and half your life goes away and you're like, what?
It's so god awful. And they actually have a revisited port of it, I think, on Capcom Classics collection for PSP. They've got the actual Street Fighter port, and I think it plays much better.
It was very buggy too.
Yeah, like when you lay the finishing move to knock the other person out, the game kind of glitches up and goes blocky.
Yeah, they just explode into pixels almost.
Yeah. Dude, it's tragic.
It's pretty bad.
But
it looked like an early alpha build of Street Fighter. That's what it reminded me of. Like, they didn't play test this at all. They're like, hey, we got to get something on the system. Slap it on a CD.
Dude, I get sick to my stomach realizing I paid $25 on eBay for that piece of shit.
Yeah, but think about it. Not many people have it.
It's a piece of gaming history.
That's probably the only awesome thing about it.
First time I've ever physically seen it anywhere.
Today was when you brought it up, I was just like, really? That looks generic.
That's it. Yeah, it does.
I mean, it's
It
legit.
looks like a really
It's the Sam's Choice Street
bad
Fighter.
board. It is. It's like the thrift store Street Fighter, which is not technically a thrift store because it is turbo, and turbo's expensive
Yeah.
to collect for. What's one of your favorite fighting games of brawlers, Brandon? What's something that you...
I'm gonna have to go with Clay Fighter, all of them. 1, 2, and 63 and a third.
I actually have a copy of Clay Fighter in.
Nice. Which one?
The very first one for the SNES.
Okay, that's the one I played the most.
God, you do know, you realize that Clay Fighter 63 and a third goes for like $200 now. It's a blockbuster rental exclusive.
Yeah.
And if you can find it, it's like a $200-$300 game.
I don't think we've ever had it come in.
What I liked is how it had pre-rendered like clay graphics.
Yeah.
So like for the SNES, those were amazing
Mr. Frosty,
graphics.
wasn't that his name, Mr. Frosty?
Yeah, his snowman. There's like a Elvis
Taffy,
guy. There's
yeah.
I can't remember what his name was. Yeah, Taffy was just a guy.
Blue suede goo,
It might have been that. Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
It was a funky name.
And yeah, I think the story of it was like some meteor hit like a carnival or something.
And possessed all these.
Yeah, and this, I don't know, weird stuff happened, and they just decided to fight because it's a video game.
The second one, I remember when C2 Judgment Clay
Yeah.
come out, like it was modeled like Terminator 2. I thought that was so hilarious.
Yeah.
Like,
The game's very tongue-in-cheek, and I don't know, it's just one of those that really stuck out in my childhood.
Clay
Cause,
Fighter 63 and a third. That's the 64 and 32-bit one, wasn't it?
yeah.
God, Clay Fighter, man, that brings back some memories. It is a frustrating game.
Yeah,
though.
and looking back, I don't think they were really that great gameplay-wise.
I think that was honestly one of the first games I cussed at.
It's
Probably.
It's close between that and Mortal Kombat 2.
It's very like rage-inducing
But
to me.
I love
It is good though.
I've rented that game many times.
Very good game. What's one of your favorite fighters, David?
Probably Mortal Kombat 2, honestly.
Mortal Kombat 2 is my favorite of the old ones.
By far the old ones is the best. And just, it
Yeah.
made it so much better after you've lost 100 times to get to Shao Kahn and beat him. And then if
Yeah.
you couldn't beat him, you just raged, swore at the TV, and threw the controller.
I got Mortal Kombat 2 for my 11th or 12th birthday party. I had a White Ranger cake the same year.
Ooh, I'm
That's
jealous.
And I got Mortal Kombat 2, the brand new for Super Nintendo. We lived in this huge farmhouse in Hartselle, and dude, I remember sitting like in the attic room upstairs for hours on end playing Mortal Kombat 2. Raiden's my man in Mortal Kombat 2, man. You do the blah, 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 and just like fly across the screen,
Yeah.
and immediately just work him over with a combo.
I like Liu Kang. He was probably my favorite.
Yeah, on one of the older ones, I typically use Liu
It
Kang.
was either him or Sub.
Yeah.
One of the two. But the first time I played it, I remember I was sitting in my room at my house, and my grandparents was asleep, my brother-in-law and them was staying the night. I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay up late and play it. If I went to bed, well, my brother-in-law caught me cussing at the TV like no end. He come busting up in there and he's going, I heard you. I said, you heard nothing. I heard you. Come on. I got my tail whooped.
Yeah, I remember fighting Shao Kahn in those early days. You almost get him, he just whip out that big sledgehammer out of hammer space and be like, pow, you're dead.
Yeah.
2 hits, you're done.
I remember on the Super Nintendo when there's a thing at the beginning, you can hold L and R down when you first boot it up, and it'll go to a secret screen where Acclaim comes on the screen. It'll say Acclaim and Shao Kahn and Katara walk out, and Shao Kahn will point to Katara and he goes, "You weak, pathetic fool." And Katara's like, "Oh!" and just stomps this Acclaim logo into like shreds. He's like, "Oh!" and he goes, "Oh, too easy."
I remember that now. Shao Kahn taunted you.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Oh, too easy, you weak, pathetic fool. Your soul is mine."
I've actually got to get another copy for the
Yeah.
Genesis now.
Oh,
I've got them. I got all 3 for the Genesis, including Ultimate Mortal Kombat X. I actually want to get it for SNES again because I have 1 and 3 for SNES as well.
Yeah, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, as mentioned, is my favorite of all the Mortal
Vault's
Kombat.
Game of the Week. Remember
Yep.
that?
Oh, yeah.
Come get your copy.
Pick you up a copy of that.
Yeah, it's had so many characters on it compared to previous iterations.
Smoke was my favorite, man.
And he had that
teleport punch.
Yeah, and he had the fatality that blew up planet Earth.
Yes, his chest was open and dropped all them little round golden bombs out.
Yep.
You just see the Earth. Fucking worldwide decimation.
The animation was so funny on it too, because the whole thing just shook, and it's like,
now
that was cool.
Man, the levels where you could uppercut the guy
through
into
the
the pit
level?
of acid in the background, and the skeleton would just
When you
float
get
out.
out and you go out through into the next stage up
Yeah.
or below,
yeah.
Yeah, I forgot
that was
about that.
freaking fun.
Was that in the third one though?
I
Where you
know.
bust them up
I
to the
think that was
ceiling?
actually when they brought it into play. Was the
Well, we're still talking about Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, aren't we?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. I was thinking back to Mortal Kombat 2.
Man, I had me a little
Pit
guidebook
fatality.
that fit in my pocket that had all like the moves and fatalities for every character on that game. Man, I was awesome back in school.
Living in high cotton.
Yeah, but yeah, I got this book here. I'll write them down for you for your milk money.
I still got mine.
And that's why I'm fat.
I still have the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 Pocket Codes book. It's like a Brady Games miniature book. I had that back in the day, and I remember like some very pissed off fourth graders due to having that book.
It's like one of the rarities to find was the actual Mortal Kombat for the Game Boy.
I noticed y'all got Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah, we had it.
Oh, that's a shiteful port.
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
I have the Game Gear port, and it's bad too. There's never, up until like recent, like with a Vita or a PSP or a 3DS or DS, I don't think there's been any decent handheld fighting games. There sure shit
really.
wasn't any on Game Boy.
No, and there really hasn't been.
Another fighting game I want to talk about, Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo port's great.
Yeah.
Game Boy port, not so
Have you played
much.
the one for Xbox One?
Yes, the new one, Killer
It is
Instinct.
awesome.
Is it? Is this? It's called Killer Instinct now,
The
right?
combo system on it's really good. It's clean.
Really?
Nice.
Yes, I love it.
I haven't. I've played a little bit of it. I played as Fulgore. Is that the dude's name?
With the claws?
Yes. Yeah. I remember Killer Instinct 2 in the arcade. It never came out. Killer Instinct Gold for 64.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, I played that quite a bit.
Fighting games on 64 were really hard to play though because of the controller.
I remember trying to play Trilogy, and it was such a pain.
Mortal Kombat Trilogy, like I had it for Nintendo first off, and then I ended up with it on PlayStation. I remember the PlayStation version is so unbearable because the load times
Oh, it's ridiculous.
between
Yeah,
each match,
yeah.
and the 64 didn't have the load times, but the 64 didn't have the full motion video like
Yep.
the PlayStation one had. That was
It was actually
the only drawback.
kind of choppy compared to the full. Mm-hmm. It really was.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat's off our list.
My favorite Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo for Super Nintendo. That is a
good one.
great game.
I'd played some Street Fighters before then, but that's the one that I really enjoyed the most.
I really like Super Street Fighter 2, the new Challengers or whatever it's called.
Yeah, there's so many iterations of Street Fighter.
That is one thing that is ridiculous.
What is it? They made
Turbo plus Alpha, Turbo
Alpha,
plus
yeah.
Alpha, Redux,
like you really-
Omega,
Yeah.
Turbo Championship, Salvation
Ultra Edition.
Salvation Edition.
It's like now they got 5 coming out on the PS4, and it's an exclusive. It's like how many versions of it are going to
It is going to be on PC as well.
Is it going to be on PC?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like how y'all
yeah.
both look at me like shit on you, Xbox owner.
Nothing's wrong with the Xbox. I mean,
No.
Yeah.
I like my PlayStation.
If I were to buy one of the two modern systems, it'd be an Xbox One.
Well, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Sorry,
I guess.
it'd be PS4.
Fuck asses. I'm slowly slipping in some curse words here and there. I've noticed.
I got Ultra Street Fighter 4 on the PC. It's pretty good too.
I have Street Fighter 4 on a PS3. I like it pretty well. It's.
I've never been good at those games.
I'm more of a Mortal Kombat guy.
Yeah.
Every day of the week, but
I mean, Street Fighter's fun, but it don't really hold a match typically.
Now, typically competitive, like real competitive though, it's held higher up than Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
But as far as casual play, Mortal Kombat all the way.
By far.
All the top violence and stuff. It's just really what makes Mortal Kombat what it is.
And another fighting game I actually about forgot about, Bloody Roar. Remember those?
I don't think so.
They made one for the Xbox, and I think.
I do. You could turn into the animal
Yes.
like beast. I do remember Blood. Yeah, I do remember that. That was actually a really good game as well.
I never played it.
The first two I think were rated T, and then like the later ones were M because they finally added like it kind of did the Tekken thing, like you hit somebody and it's like a flash of light, and then later on they're like, let's add blood instead of light, you know. Yeah, dude,
Honestly, about forgot about that franchise.
I did too. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm actually gonna make a note of that. Another animal-based fighting game that does not hold the test of time. Used to love, sucks ass now. Primal Rage.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The dinosaur fighting game.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
I mean, you could pick up and throw the followers and like eat the followers and shit. It was good
If we're
fun.
gonna go to games like that, one of my favorites, King of the Monsters. Mainly one, but also two on the Super
One of
Nintendo.
my favorite SNK games of
Yeah.
all time, most definitely.
Because it combined like destroying a city and monsters with with the fighter. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's almost like a beat 'em up / fighting game.
Yeah.
Because I remember you can like bust the buildings and there'll be the certain power ups you can get in
Yeah.
the building.
And it only had like 6 characters you could choose from, but they were still all just really cool, like based on kaiju that existed. Like there's a not Godzilla and a not Ultraman.
Yeah.
And things like that.
The best way to play it too is if you got the money to own the Rolls Royce of retro gaming. If you own the Neo Geo
Oh yeah.
and actually have the carts, you got about $200 a cart to spend, you know. Which all the other ports are really good. I'm just saying if you want to get homegrown, you know, or go buy a Neo Geo arcade machine, whatever you want to do.
On that same note, the modern Godzilla, like Destroy All Monsters Melee on the GameCube and Unleashed
Great
on the
game.
Wii, they're not the most balanced games in the world, but they're fun.
Melee is really fun. I haven't
Yeah.
played Unleashed. Melee I have it on GameCube.
Yeah, Unleashed
It's
has
great.
a bad thing with a Destroyer. He has this one move where he makes a laser with his horn, and it's the only drawback, it takes a minute sliver of life from him when he uses it. But at the same time, the way the game works, you have multiple life bars, and the only way to completely lose all the way down to your next life bar is for them to hit
Your
you.
life ball.
Yeah, life ball. Life bar is for them to hit you.
What's on the mind? No.
And
My balls.
always balls on the mind. But
On your face too.
yeah, it would took off so much health of your enemy, and they could just sit there and spam that thing all day. It was
And just
so whenever I played
really
with
fuck
friends
shit
or
up.
with my stepson, like no one gets destroyed.
Nice.
But they were fun.
Dude, one that I actually picked up another copy of this the other day, a Sega only fighter, Eternal Champions.
I loved it.
I never played that one.
Super hard, but it's very 90s. Like it's like the thrash, like Genesis style thrash metal soundtrack.
Yeah.
And like there's I don't remember any of their names. There's
don't
like a
either.
voodoo fighter. There's like a
The guy in the whole
duster and hat. Yeah. It's out on Genesis, and it's really hard. Well, I picked it up on Sega CD the other day. Challenge from the Dark Side. And then this was like right when the rating system was getting established. Sega tried doing this thing called Deep Water. And it was like a picture of a shark swimming. They were going to put that on their like mature audience games. And if I'm not mistaken, other than this other game called Sacred Pools, which was a Sega Soft PC game, I think it's the only game to carry the Deep Water moniker. But it's really good, but really frustratingly difficult. I think since we are recording live, I'm just gonna go ahead and let y'all know we got another guest dropping in with us, Mr. Nathan Earl. Hey Nathan.
Hello.
He just sat down at the table with us, so we're gonna force him to talk
Yeah.
too.
He has no choice.
Entertain everyone. Now.
Go.
Shitty dick nipples.
Well,
Okay, there goes our PG.
There goes the
rating.
PG-13 rating. We're a lot R rating now.
Yeah. It's pseudo
It'll be snuff
PG-13.
before it's over.
Hopefully not.
Try not to.
How about the Final Fight games? Beat 'em up.
Oh
Capcom.
yeah, but I never got a big into those.
I actually got to play one the other day when I had my retro.
They're really good.
Yeah.
The first one's still my favorite. First one and the third one. Third one's kind of hard to
It
find,
was the
though.
original Final Fight, and it kind of made me think of Streets of Rage, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. Because
It is the same,
Yeah.
pretty much. I think, actually, Streets of Rage was meant as Sega's answer to Final Fight.
It could have possibly been.
One of my favorite Final Fight games that was on the NES, Mighty Final Fight. Did you ever play
I
it?
never got to play it.
It's a super deformed beat 'em up. You know, they got the huge head, little body.
Huh.
But for NES, like, it is a really well balanced and good functioning beat 'em up. Pretty hard to find. Probably $200 game, or 150 maybe. It might not be that much. I know it's over the 100 mark at this point, so it's pretty rare.
I got a little outlier. WCW versus NWO World Tour on the N64.
Oh, gosh.
I play that game so
Wasted
much.
so much of my life on that.
Yeah.
Is that the one that had the Gallagher character that had the sledgehammer he brought to the ring? Or was that Mayhem?
That might have been, I think it was Mayhem.
It made him
It was like a
him.
Yeah. It came to the ring like with the sweatband and the sledgehammer. Like a Gallagher.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah,
Mayhem.
I think it was on Mayhem.
Yeah, those. The thing I liked about World Tour, I don't know if you could do it with Mayhem. You could go through and like change how every single wrestler looked and their names.
Yes.
Yeah, I went through and like made parodies of everybody multiple times. Just wasted so much time doing that. It doesn't have all the fancy character like creation options as modern wrestling, but it played so much easier than like WWE 2K15. That thing is a turd.
2K14's even
I don't-
hard to play. I tried it, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm taking it back.
The wrestling's not supposed to be a hard to play game. You just want to beat someone with a steel chair.
Well, it's like a UFC game. If you played it, try it.
I played one on the Dreamcast, I think, and it was really hard.
I'm limited on wrestling games. Will tell you WWF Warzone
That was
all
good.
day long.
Yeah.
That was
man.
like the first one with a character creator, I believe.
Warzone and WCW Nitro are the only two wrestling games I ever got pretty big in. I had them on PlayStation originally, and Warzone still my day, man. It's the most like pickup friendly, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not like really simulation. It's more of like arcade. You got your grapple button, you got a punch and kick button.
Yeah.
And that's essentially it.
Yeah.
SmackDown versus Raw is when it started getting difficult. We had like 5 different buttons to Irish whip and clothesline and stuff.
Well, see, it's like
really bad.
the UFC game. Like when you're holding, you can hold the left trigger, and you have these 4 buttons. Well, that does your commands, and then the right stick does something. Well, if you let off,
So it
it's
toggles?
a whole different set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's tough.
It just, I don't like games being that hard to control.
No.
Especially a game where you just want to beat someone up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just blow off some steam and beat someone up, you know? It's not a hard
Beat
concept.
some
There's
wholesale ass.
There's only so many like basic button configurations that you have to throw in. Like on the new games, you have to grapple, and then you have like so many like moves out of it. If you hit the left and like A and circle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, we just had a dead spot. Sorry, there's a lot going on.
The
in here
character
right now,
creation
y'all.
on Warzone and some of the earlier wrestling games was simple. You just had like a handful of stats. You picked like you could copy a whole wrestler's move list, or you could just pick a few moves and went on with it. Like WWE, 2K15, the character creation. There's like 30 stats on there that you have to set up, and so many options that you have to go through and pick just to make a character. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember some of the later wrestling games that Steven Barnett used to play, and man, he could full on like make any person you could think of. Like he had a Freddy Krueger character he made, like a Jason character he made. He would just like
Jesus and Devil one time. It was
he'd pit fictional characters against each other and just watch them wrestle. Like watch the AI play as them.
Oh, that reminds me of Soul Calibur, specifically Soul Calibur 3 on PlayStation 2. Out of all of them I've played, that one had the best character creator customizer.
I never played it. The last one I played was the Soul Calibur. It was on Dreamcast. Is
Okay,
it
that's
just Soul
two.
Calibur?
Soul Calibur 2 on Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. What?
I mean, it's GameCube rather. Dreamcast was Soul Calibur 1.
Yeah, that's the one I played then. So it was Soul Edge, Soul Calibur, and then Soul Calibur 2.
Yeah.
Right, Soul Edge was
Very.
that was like the very first arcade version, I think.
And 4 was good on the 360, and I think PS3 as well. But I don't know if it came out on that.
I remember each version of that had their own exclusive characters.
360 had the Star Wars guys, and they were bullshit to play against.
Yeah, you had like
Really?
Vader and Yoda.
That was the Apprentice and
Was it The
Yoda.
Apprentice?
The Apprentice, if I played someone online who's the Apprentice, I quit immediately. It was not worth the frustration.
Overpowered.
Yeah, they actually had their own separate bar of force power, and they could do all kinds of crap. Yoda was as bad, but he was annoying that he was so small, high attacks couldn't hit him. But I just kind of learned some tricks to just focus on low attacks.
Yeah.
But the Apprentice, all his force powers are just complete bull. So that sucked. But in 3, it had such great character customization, even better than 4. I remember me and my buddy, I had made the Pope, and he had this like staff that would just expand out like the size of a log. But you don't want to mess with the Pope's wood.
That's reserved for younger men.
And my friend made
I'm
Ronald
sorry.
Reagan, who ran around in the Speedo and used tambourines.
He'd just like steal your pot from you and be like, Nancy Reagan would come out of the bushes, be like, just say no.
And he gave him some like
Instead of toasty, just say no.
he gave him like this weird like old cocky angry man voice. So he'd come up and be like, "Don't get cocky."
That's
It was
hilarious.
It was great. Soul Calibur 2 was great too, but it had different weapons you could get, which the new ones do too. But on 2, I guess it's being the first time that they did it, was very unbalanced. Like I remember Mitsurugi had a sword called the Damascus Blade. When he had it, his drawback is you can't block. His positive was they can't block your moves, so you could just get someone in the corner and just rape them to death. It was ridiculous. So we would ban stuff like that when playing with friends. And 1 was just a straight up arcade port, but it was awesome. Very basic but sweet.
One of my favorite beat 'em up series still this day is the Double Dragon series.
I'm going to plug Double Dragon Neon on PC. Did it ever come out on?
It has. I haven't played it, but it is out.
That's actually one of the games I'm going to be giving away sometime on our Steam group. So join the Steam
Yeah,
group.
remember, get on the
We just
Steam
had a
group,
winner.
get free swag.
Yeah, we just had a winner. He won the Mass Effect collection, Mass Effect 1 and 2.
Who won it? Who was it? Won this one?
Colin. So congratulations,
Nice.
Colin.
Very nice. You got some free gaming swag.
Yep. All you have to do is join the group. You ain't got to do nothing else.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, Double Dragon and Neon was really good co-op beat 'em ups.
Well, Neon essentially it's just like a remake.
Yeah,
of the
except
original,
except it has kind of an RPG element. You could unlock different special moves and then kind of upgrade them a little bit. But it was overall about the same. I like at the beginning though. You see like the woman from the first game come up. And she's just standing there, and some guy comes up and just punches her right in the puss. And then throws her over his shoulder and walks off with her. And like, what's their names? Is Billy, I think, and someone,
Billy and Jimmy.
Yeah,
Billy and Jimmy Lee.
one of them comes out and he's like, "Oh, not again."
I do remember like that was one of the most graphic things when I was a kid. You know, I was fortunate enough to have good parents, so I ain't never had to witness no crazy shit going on. But I always thought it was hilarious at the beginning of that game how that dude just come out and would just punch her right in the fucking stomach. Just,
Yeah.
And they just towed her off. And that
And on
dude
Neon,
just-
on Neon, it looks like he gets her right in the cooter. I mean, like,
Really?
just right in the baby maker, just pow.
oh, it's awesome. I have it. I'll probably have to get it for Xbox One.
Yeah, those are great. Another one I've been playing, it was an arcade that I've never played before, but they ported it to PC recently rather well, is the D&D Chronicles of Mystery. It is awesome.
I haven't heard of it.
You get to select from a few different classes like the paladin and cleric and wizard, and you just go through this kind of generic bland storyline. It had kind of an RPG element to it. You pick up items, get spells and stuff like that. It's just a fun beat 'em up. Pretty detailed graphics for its time.
What's it called?
Dungeons and Dragons: The Chronicles of Mystery. And it takes place back in like AD&D storyline.
I'll get that from you. I might have. It's a PC game?
Yeah.
I might try to look that up.
Hey, come over one night, we'll play it.
We should.
Yeah.
Something I want to plug. One of my favorite. We were talking about SNK earlier. Samurai Showdown series.
Never played them.
Pretty good, fast pace, and they're one of the first games that had like the arterial spray. Like you could slice them at the end of the round, and like it would just two big like, pumps of blood, and they'd fall over dead. Very hard, but it's ported on most every 16-bit, so you had access to play it. It's on Sega CD, Genesis, SNES, and I think like 2 and 3 is out on those consoles too. There's 4 of them, 4 or 5. You can get them on Neo Geo, like I said earlier. If you're fortunate enough to own one, you can get them on there.
If you're OG with all that cash, all that Skrilla.
You got that Porsche of a console. It's about how much it costs to buy one of them.
We've talked about it before, but I have to plug the Michael Jackson arcade.
Yeah, Moonwalker's pretty great, man.
Yeah.
I actually went through and played it on my MAME arcade.
We are not talking about the Genesis game.
No.
We're talking about the arcade game. It was great.
Genesis.
It was fun and it was funny.
I've never laughed so hard like when that shit would come on the screen and just be Michael Jackson going, "Wow!"
Yeah.
At the end of every level.
Funny, Michael Jackson running around saving kids.
Fucking hilarious. That's all you can really say about it.
Yeah. There's even like one of the little walker robot on there. He'd come out there and like pelvic thrust at you. You'd have like a big robot dick almost that would punch you in the face.
You'd eat the monkey and turn into a giant robot Michael Jackson. Yeah, and he'd shoot lasers.
His monkey would come out there and you'd like go touch him and he'd disappear. So he looks like he ate him or something. And he'd turn into big robot Jackson, like almost Ultraman style. He'd get up giant size and shrink down. Wish he'd stay all giant and kaiju like.
One thing that I want to plug, if you own a Panasonic 3DO, I mean, if you own one, you probably feel like I do, and you're like, oh, I spent money on this, but they got a game called Way of the Warrior. I think
I've heard of
the name of it. It's a Naughty Dog game, actually.
Huh.
Probably, in my opinion, it's up there with Pit Fighter as the worst of the worst.
Wow.
Well, it does the all digitized graphics, and there's like a dinosaur whose name's High Abbott, and it's like a claymation dinosaur. There's a skull dude. There's some Australian guy. There's a geisha, and all kinds of. Dude, I own it, and I have never won one single round on that game. Not one single match have I won. It controls like shit. It looks like shit. All sources are, if it smells and looks like shit, it is shit. So
sounds like a turd.
Yeah, it's very bad.
Smash Brothers. Love them.
Nathan Earl actually found a $20 copy of Smash Brothers Melee earlier.
Nice. And the one on N64 is just Smash Brothers, right?
Yeah,
that's the one I played the most.
Super
probably.
Smash Brothers, then it's
Smash Brothers Melee,
and then Smash Brothers Brawl,
and then the new one, was it U or something like that?
Yeah.
I have not played the new one one bit.
It's pretty good. I played it some. I'm really terrible at the Smash Brothers games.
I am too, but I have fun with them. Yeah, Smash Brothers on N64, if you're familiar with the series, it's just a really watered down basic version because it was the first one, obviously. Mm-hmm. But it was really fun, especially for its time. Like, no one had done that.
No,
any kind of fighting game like that.
Multi-tier levels and
and like you couldn't dive from straight damage. You had to be ring out.
You got to figure out how to knock them out of the ring, off the screen, essentially.
Like a giant mode bosses and stuff like that. It was all really fun.
It was pretty good. The Virtua Fighter series is something I wanted to touch on.
Never been to those.
They're pretty good. They don't hold up well now, and they're one of them games, which I have it. I got Virtua Fighter 2 on Saturn, and I got the first one on 32X, and 32X one's got like both of them kind of do. They got like the moon jump physics, but they're still pretty enjoyable. Not as good as Tekken, though.
Oh, I was going to get to Tekken, especially Tekken Tag. My favorite of them all by far.
Tekken 2 and 3 are still mine, but Tekken Tag's really good, too.
Yeah, it's basically 3 with the tag element from like Marvel vs. Capcom.
One of the first fighting games to set up the juggle system.
Yeah.
where you get somebody's ass up in the air and just keep them in the air and walk them across the stage.
Yep.
That's a lot of the tact, actually, to Tekken.
Yeah.
Is that, actually.
Yeah, and
I remember you had Tekken Tag for PS2.
Yeah.
I used to get so mad at you and Clint Parker. I still screw you guys on Tekken Tag tournament.
God, I loved it so much.
Wouldn't play you to this
But
day if we had it
as
sitting
far
right in
as-
front of us.
As those more serious fighters, as hours I put into them, it's probably one of the least compared to like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. It's one of those not many people really played a lot.
Yeah.
It was, and every time I've ever played an arcade of it, the controls translated horribly. I don't know if that's just me or if it's just the way it is. I cannot do with it the shit on any of them. Well, it's fighters in general, I'm like that.
Yeah.
I can't work the stick as well. I work my stick pretty well.
I was going to say, that sounds like a personal problem.
I got some pills that fix that.
You got to give me one sometime.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Just out of curiosity, let's see
We'll
what
both pop one and sword fight.
Like, you can get a green condom, and I'll get a red one, and you can be Vader, and I'll be Luke.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that's not gay or anything.
It's not gay. I mean, as long as there's no penetration, it's not gay.
That's true. It's just friendly sword fight.
Yeah. One I played recently, Injustice Gods Among Us.
Voice is taking a sick turn.
Yeah.
God. Told you it was going to get dark around here.
There's no kids
Told you
over
to
here right
snuff
now.
before it's
So.
over.
Yeah, Injustice Gods Among Us, though.
David's back with us.
Yeah.
Hey, David.
Jason just kicked my ass.
Did he?
Nice.
I think I might take him. I don't know, though. I've been sitting here observing.
We're 1-1, so
Where's the
Touched on
tournament?
Killer Instinct yet?
Huh?
You touched on Killer
Those
Instinct
other
yet?
dudes?
Yeah.
yeah, they took off.
Well,
No idea.
well.
So it's
Two
a free
people.
play though, so I mean,
Oh, really?
yeah.
I might give her a whack here in a minute.
Hey, if it's free, I will too. Why not?
Mo Aaron Black. I might play with Aaron Black.
I've played maybe 3 hours. I'm gonna get destroyed, but I
Mortal
got nothing to
Kombat X is
lose.
great.
I'm better with Ermac, and I've always fought with Scorpion. It's like
Dude, if somebody's really good with Ermac on the new Mortal Kombat,
Oh yeah.
they can cause you some misery.
Or Quan Chi, either one.
I don't. What are you doing after this?
Nothing. I'm free.
Come over and we can do a Twitch cast Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
on the Xbox.
well,
We might do a Twitch broadcast later this evening. People, if y'all would be interested, watch me and Brandon clown around on some Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, go watch us do that before you have to watch a loud play an hour of
God, it's coming.
Scarlet Blade.
Remember,
Oh,
vote
God.
for Super Scarlet Blades. I'm gonna have to play.
Oh yeah.
You remember to please vote for Super Adventure Island and ActRaiser on this next.
You want to
coming-
watch Lyle play the Scarlet Blade?
You don't want. Y'all don't. It's gonna be me cussing and bitching.
Exactly. That's what they
That's what
listen
they
to the
want to see.
podcast
I think
for.
I'm just gonna come watch.
They want to see me get drawn and quartered digitally. I'm not happy about it.
Injustice Gods Among Us, the DC Mortal Kombat like game.
I haven't played it a lot.
It's awesome.
It is good.
Yes, but if someone gets Green Lantern and gets good with them, they can spam you left and right.
Well, it's
See,
Green
I was
Lantern
like
on
that with
DC
Aquaman,
versus
like
Mortal Kombat.
Aquaman was bad too.
Yeah, Aquaman and General Zod.
Yeah.
Now,
They were both. Aquaman though was so spammy, like it was ridiculous.
Batman was garbage on there. Sorry, it just was.
Wonder Woman was like Wonder Woman and Cyborg to me were the worst on there.
But Robin or Nightwing, he was
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
He was so bad.
It had a really great story to it, man. I loved it. That's one of the few fighting games I play like start to finish within a couple nights because of the story.
I still haven't. Now, I'll do you some misery on DC versus Mortal Kombat. The Flash, man.
Yeah, I've heard.
love the Flash.
I never
on
played
there.
that one much.
It's actually really good, believe it or not.
Yeah, I
It-
mean, I played like once. Not
It and
much.
Injustice makes me think a lot of the same kind of deal. 'Cause that
Yeah.
Injustice, what little I have played, plays a lot, of course, like
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat versus DC.
I guess I had good transition over to Marvel versus Capcom.
Oh, I love
Mainly
Marvel
2
versus
and
Capcom
3.
2.
One was decent, but 2 was awesome.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on Dreamcast.
Yeah.
That is the boss tits of
Yeah.
Dreamcast fighters, in my opinion. Well, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike was also on Dreamcast, and
That's right.
it was a really good fighter.
Yeah.
That's my idea of a good fighter. I love the fast-paced 2D fighters. Guilty Gear series. Did you ever play? Oh my god, dude, you would love them. Guilty Gear. You can get Guilty Gear X on Steam. I'm not sure.
I'll look it up. I think I've seen those on sale.
It's like one of them ones where it's super fast paced and you can rack up like 65 hit combos. Like, it's excellent. Lots of epileptic flashing lights and shit.
I love me some Caesars.
So good. The Guilty Gear series is really, really, really good. I'm looking on Vault's shelves here to actually see.
Hey, while we're on Dreamcast, Power Stone won them too.
Power Stone was good.
Great games.
I actually had Power Stone 2 here recently.
And
sold it.
To date, it's the only fighter I know that's really used the environment as much as like, you know, you got Mortal Kombat, you can use it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's the only game where there's like gun turrets you can get in, missile silos.
Yeah.
And you can pick up a column and it's use it as a sword.
Being able to oh shit.
The transformations.
Yes.
As you got the Power Stones.
Yes.
Yeah, you would go through.
That's what I was trying to think of. My mom went
forms.
blank. I love the fact that you have 4 people in the arena too.
Yeah, that's one of the first ones. I think Smash Brothers before that was the only other one that did.
4-player brawling.
Yeah. It did have really weird arcade mode where you had to go through these little, almost like mini game type stages. It was awkward, but the 4-player brawl is where it was at.
Ultraman on Super Nintendo.
Oh yes,
Another
a turd that I love.
A turd that is kind of decent in our hearts, just because it is a bad game, but it's so bad it's good.
Yeah, it's one of them turds. It's just in my heart, and it's gonna kill me one day. It's gonna go down the wrong ventricle and just kill me.
You're just gonna fall. Your eyes don't instantly roll back in your head. And you're just gonna fall over.
Thanks, Ultraman.
Yeah.
Thank you a lot. Other games like that were pretty good. The Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters.
Never
you remember
played
it? It was pretty good. Very rare on the NES now, like $100-something game.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo and Genesis ports, so pretty.
so much.
Yeah, they're pretty common. Power Rangers, the fighting game. Did you ever play it?
Yes,
You play as Zords, and it was actually really
That sounds
good.
badass.
I'm actually buying the movie game tonight.
It's good. The movie game, the Power Rangers games are pretty good. Beat 'em up.
I never got to play many of
The
those.
movie games are my favorite. Like the movie games on the one on Genesis is the best because the Genesis one follows the movie. Like you know, it's beat 'em up. Then you got levels where you're the Zord fighting Kaiju, essentially, and it's like, you know, big people.
Do you get to fight like a giant Rita Repulsa or something at the end?
No, you fight Ivan Ooze and the things from the movie, like the giant insects.
What about
like
Goldar? Is he on there?
No, it's the ones from the movie. It's like the giant.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There's like the
It's been a
giant
while.
scorpion. There's a giant like bee thing.
The big turd CG ones.
Oh man, Power Rangers the movie. Side note: the CG in that movie is.
It's awful.
Oh god, it's the worst thing I've ever seen.
I wish they would have stuck with the way they did it in the show.
It's like straight up old school silicone graphics is all it is.
It was so great when I was little, and then I watched it and
Alrighty. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of a power failure issue on the laptop, and the battery died. So we had to reset all that.
Yeah, didn't lose anything, luckily.
We're about to the end of our topics anyways. We'll have another episode, I'm sure, for fighting games because there's so many of them that we could cover. But we are going to go ahead and do that wonderful segment. It's going to be titled something a little different tonight.
Here's
because
Pooh
or the Pooh.
This one I was lazy because I haven't had much time, so I'm going with Not a Hero. One I did a review for her Amongst the Geeks. It's a side-scrolling shoot 'em up, 2.25D, like 2.25D cover system shooter game. It's weird. It's full side-scrolling 2D shooter, but the background becomes something you can take cover behind.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of that cover mechanics you see in games where you can't take many shots or you'll die.
Yeah.
Enemies will take cover too, so knocking them out of cover becomes a big deal of it. It's got the good 16-bit old school graphics. It's very fluidly animated though. Very fast, responsive controls. I was really pleased with how it controlled. The mechanics of the game are really simple. Your character can slide, which can also knock people down. He can shoot, he can reload, you can use special weapons, or you can take cover. To use an item, or like pick up an item, or you interact with the environment, you simply stand on this location, and it'll happen within like 2 seconds. You see a little meter come up on your character, he'll just automatically do his thing.
That's cool.
It's got a really entertaining storyline. It goes as Bunny Lord, this like purple bunny human dude from the future, comes back to run. He time travels backwards to run for the mayor of England because somehow England has a mayor.
Nice.
And he says if he doesn't win, the world's going to end in some kind of catastrophe. At least according to this weird bunny man. He decides the best way to win the heart of the people is by butchering criminals en masse. Just a massive amount of them. The story goes, you go through like several different districts of the city, taking down crime lords, and it's brutally murdering them. It's got really humorous dialogue. I was gonna cite some examples, but I cannot right now. But it's
we're very limited at this very point.
It's semi-randomly generated though, so like you play through the game again, you're gonna get some different dialogue.
Yeah.
Some of it's preset, some of it's randomly generated, mainly like adjectives. So sometimes it's really hilarious, and sometimes it's kind of awkward, like the way the sentences are used.
Yeah.
Bunny Lord's voice sounds like almost a synthetic version of the parents from Charlie Brown. It's the wah 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 wah.
Nice.
It's a really short game though. If you play just the main objective of the game through each level, some levels can be beaten in 30 seconds, and you could probably play through the whole game in an hour or two.
It's super short, man.
But if you go for each level has 3 optional objectives, and doing these objectives unlocks new characters you can play with. Each character is also rather unique. They control a lot differently. They do different things. Like one of them is like a samurai lady. She only can use a sword. But the objectives is where the content is of the game. If you want to go through and do the objectives, they're really hard objectives. So you're going to find yourself dying and starting over and trying to hit these objectives.
Trial and error kind of deal.
Yeah. But yeah, it's overall a really, really good game. It's only like $13. I suggest getting it. Not a Hero is the poo.
It is the poo.
It's the poo.
So it's that poo you need in your life, not that poo you need to leave behind.
Yep.
Everybody knows what we mean.
Yep.
But, we're not trying to offend anybody this week because, like I said, we are live at Vault Games tonight.
Yep. Can't offend the clientele.
I can't even talk. Very true though. Since it's kind of packed here tonight, I think we're going to skip questions because we only had a couple. I want to wait and answer a good amount next weekend.
Okay.
I think. And so as always, you can look us up on goodolegamers.com.
Yep.
As always, the webpage is there. Look it up. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/goodolegamerspodcast. Mm-hmm. You can find us on Twitter at goodolegamers. And if you want to email us anything, you can just send it to podcast@goodolegamers.com.
Yep. Or go to the website. There's a contact us form. Just fill it out.
Steam group.
Yeah, join the Steam group. We just had a giveaway, like I said.
You get free games if you join
just
it
for
and
being there.
Brandon's gave away 2 so far. We got.
I've been asked why we do it. It's because if you Google Good Ole Gamers, Steam is a good hit on there. It brings us up, increases our visibility pretty good. So the more people we got in there, the better.
Good job on the Dreamcast thing you did. I was like, I told Chad, I was like, yeah, you hear that? You hear that? Somebody else appreciates it too. He's like, it's the worst system ever made. I'm like
I said,
nice.
I heard it. I was like,
thank you for listening, man.
Yeah.
We hope you like it. We're going to keep churning them out if we can. But Steam, you get your free games.
Look
there.
at the Good Ole Gamers podcast and groups, you'll find it. Get your free game. Like I said, we gave away a Mass Effect collection. I got a bunch more split in my inventory to be given away. So join Steam.
I've been playing Mortal Kombat X on the Good Ole Gamers on Twitch account.
Yeah, it's twitch.tv/Good Ole Gamers.
I'll post updates on on Facebook and on the website. So if we're on there, live broadcasting and whatnot, feel free to drop in, talk to us.
Yeah,
ridicule
I think
us.
we're going to start updating the Facebook and Twitter when we go live. So
Yeah.
we'll get some notification. If not, you should be able to go in there and see some past highlights.
Yep. So as always, please keep following us. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Please vote for Super Adventure Island and
Or if you're
ActRaiser.
awesome,
Don't
Vote for Nox and Outlander because you're a cool kid.
Y'all have already punished me once, essentially. Don't do it a second time.
Do it.
There's no sense in that shit. I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
Big thanks for Vault Games for letting us
Thank
be here.
you to Vault Games for having us tonight. Big thank you, Mark Covington, owner. Thank you for what you do here. And, of course, thanks for letting us come down, sit here and bullcrap
Yep.
in your store. And y'all come check out their selection if you're around the Cullman area and local, because they got a good one. And you will find something that you can walk out of here
Yeah,
with. That's
even
for
if it's just
sure.
old peripherals for an old system you have, you need a controller, they probably got it.
Well, until next week's episode, Brandon, sign us off.
Game over, man. Game over.